OfferPad, as you can imagine, when we purchase a home, the fact that people can select their closing date, we have to be able to evaluate and look at the market, not just 30, 60, but 6 months ahead to be able to make sure that we're providing the best and the right offers. With OfferPad, we do see that the market that we're currently in is probably something that's going to continue through a lot of this year, through 2021, with the inventory low, people looking to purchase the same types of homes, more of that seller's market. If there's a shift, that's where I think people have, they might have a hard time understanding, well, if the market shifts or if homes are selling so quickly, why would I use an iBuyer? And it's the benefits that we provide on both sides. So one, if the market does shift, OfferPad has operated and our real estate operations teams have operated in all kinds of markets. So there's no concern there. We're ready for whatever way the market's going to go. OfferPad can support sellers or buyers in whichever way. But if we do see that we continue right now when homes are selling very quickly, people say, well, why would I sell to a cash buyer? I can sell it on the market within 2 days. It's true, but that means that if your home is going to sell in 2 days, the home you may want to move to is going to sell in 2 days. And how are you going to make sure that you don't have your buyer back out? How are you going to make sure that you have the contingency? And when it really comes down to it, OfferPad's offers are amazingly accurate and high and good. So they're free too. So it doesn't really make sense for somebody to not come to us and just request that free no obligation offer up front before they think about listing their home on the traditional market.
You're listening to the Millionacres Podcast. Our mission at Millionacres is to educate and empower investors to make great decisions and achieve real estate investing success. We provide regular content and perspective for everyone, from those just starting out to seasoned pros with decades of experience. At Millionacres, we work every day to help you demystify real estate investing and build real wealth.
Hello, I'm Deidre Woollard, an editor at Millionacres. Thank you so much for tuning into the Millionacres Podcast. One of the biggest trends that has consumed residential real estate for the last few years is iBuying. We've seen some of the biggest companies in real estate, Zillow, Redfin, get into the space. Opendoor went public last year via a special purpose acquisition company. These are grabbing a lot of the spotlight today, but I'm talking to one of the bigger iBuyers that is still a private company, OfferPad. So my guest is Cortney Read, Chief of Staff and Communications for OfferPad. She works closely with the CEO, Brian Baer. She manages a variety of high-level and long-term cross-organizational products. She oversees OfferPad's strategic communications, public relations, and media efforts. So I'm really excited to have this conversation. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. I'm really, really excited to dig in with you too.
I'm sure most of our listeners are probably familiar with iBuying, but can you explain what it is and how long ago OfferPad actually got started in iBuying?
OfferPad started iBuying homes about a little over 5 years ago. And really we're one of the founders in iBuying. Ultimately, what it is it stands for instant buyer, which means OfferPad would be an instant buyer of a home. And the purpose of it is to eliminate a lot of the contingency, the fragmented process of real estate, and put the consumer in control over selling their home. When they'll know exactly how much they're going to get for their home. They're going to be able to know exactly when they want to close. They can adjust their closing date. There's tons of different services that we've added into the iBuying platform, but really overall, it's convenience and control is why people come to an iBuyer.
One of the things that I find pretty interesting is that, iBuying has really thrived in this time when residential real estate has kept going up and up. But I noticed last year when the pandemic hit, iBuying really froze. I saw a lot of companies stop iBuying completely. What was that like for OfferPad? And what kind of lessons did you learn as the market kind of suddenly heated back up?
It's a great question. And really, in all honesty, OfferPad was built for all types of markets. Nobody was expecting the pandemic. So that definitely was something that we had to take a moment and pause and not purchase homes. We actually had the shortest pause period out of any iBuyer. We were the first ones to open back up in all markets, and we had a very limited downtime. The reason why we did need to take a pause was because we needed to make sure that we were recalibrating our processes. So a few things is one, we want to make sure that our offers were still accurate. When the pandemic hit, the housing market, nobody really knew exactly for the first time really ever in history, which direction the housing market was going to go. So we need to take a brief pause, make sure that we are providing competitive, strong cash offers. Somebody can come to us and get a cash offer, but not close on their home for 3 more months. So we have to take that into effect of in 3 months, what would this home may be worth? That's one of the main reasons we had to stop. Very short period of time. Offerpad is founded by real estate experts. Prior to Offerpad even starting, our founders have 100,000 homes under their belts that they've either bought, sold, rented, renovated. So it was really easy for us to be able to recalibrate and adjust and then be able to continue buying homes. Another important reason why we took a brief pause, and we did this proactively at Offerpad, is that we wanted to make sure that obviously the health, the safety, wellness of our employees, but our sellers and buyers and our third-party vendors was taken into account. So when we did that pause, while our real estate operations teams was working on our calibrations, making sure our offers were strong, there was a large percentage of the company that was focused on making sure what are all the touch points we have with sellers, buyers, and vendors, and how are we going to operate safely? We were able to get certified through a company called Healthy Verify. They certified all of our safety protocols, all of our procedures, all of our PPE, who uses it, when uses it. We were able to get a lot of our local government officials to back that in each of the markets that we were in too. So once we got those two things locked in, we turned back on, and we've been buying very strongly and aggressively since.
It was certainly a crazy market, how fast everything went back up. As we're recording this today, existing home sales came out and inventory again at record lows. For 2020, did you end up buying more homes than the previous year, or did it end up tracking out around even, or how did that track out for you?
So as a privately held company, we don't release a lot of that information, but I can tell you that we ended 2020 a lot stronger than I think, a lot of companies. Like, we were built for this. So when we did turn back went green again and started buying homes, we saw a completely new demographic of people coming to us. You know that we're here for convenience and control, but now people can sell their homes to somebody online and still get that strong offer without having really a lot of human interaction, right? With COVID happening, people didn't want strangers in their home. So the same people before who maybe didn't look at iBuying as an option, now were, looking at us as the only option. So although there was, that pause, and it may have impacted our numbers for a short period of time, we did see, influx of people. Even when we were paused, we were receiving hundreds and thousands of requests every single day, because people were like, I still want to sell. I want to sell now. I don't know what's going to happen in the market. And I don't want strangers in my house. I want a quick cash offer. What will Offerpad pay for my house today?
That makes sense to me. I know a lot of sellers were very hesitant about putting their homes on the market just because nobody wanted to have an open house during that time period. So that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
And have you seen a lot of interest on the buyer side? I mean, that's really been, that was the story of 2020. Did you see a rapid increase in buyer interest as well?
We did see the rapid increase in buyer interest, but we saw it shift to people wanting different types of homes. So as you can imagine, we're all working from home, right? People want, even me, an extra office space. You want a larger backyard. You want just more square footage in general. So the average price point has shifted a lot to what buyers are looking for, but the more is really the number of rooms, the lot size. Everybody seems to kind of want the same type of home right now, which can have a lot of impact on the current inventory.
I think that's also something that buyers like, is to know that the home has been freshly remodeled and redone. And so what is that process like in terms of what Offerpad does? And how have you gone about identifying vendors that can do that for you in different markets?
Sure. So I'll just back up and tell you a little bit about our process. So somebody comes to offerpad.com, they take 5 minutes and they tell us about their home. They will get a cash offer and within 24 hours. So our real estate teams will evaluate everything they tell us in that 5-minute questionnaire and be able to provide them with that strong cash offer. We're going to ask them, what does their flooring look like? What does their paint look like? Do they have any conditions we need to know about the home? So the more people can be upfront with us, the more accurate their offer is going to be. We need them to, we can't go down the road and in 2 weeks see that the roof is caving in, and that's not something that they told us about. So we want people to be upfront. We ask them to upload pictures. It's going to give us a lot of insight into their home, but really we also want to know what makes their home special. Did they add in an extra bedroom? Did they recently change their countertops and put new appliances in? That's all things that we'll take into consideration. Within 24 hours, they're going to get that cash offer from us. And if they decide they want to move forward, then we'll enter into the agreement. And we'll also do, we'll have our due diligence period. So we will have to send out a third party inspector to make sure that everything in the home is as what's expected. And then that seller gets to select their closing date. So they can close in as little as 12, 14 days, all the way up to 9 months. We'll see people come to us for a variety of reasons. They'll come and say, I haven't found my dream home yet, especially right now with how fast homes are moving. They want to come to us saying, I know my home is sold. I know exactly what I'm selling it for. Offerpad's not going to back out of the purchase contract, or their loan is not going to fall through like another buyer could. And now they have removed that contingency and can look for their dream house. Once they find that house, they call us, they let us know, I need to adjust my closing date to 10 days sooner, 10 days later, and they have all that freedom. There's no additional cost to it. When they sell to Offerpad, once that home is now ours and our possession and it's closed, our renovations team, which Offerpad is one of the largest renovation companies also in the world, where we are renovating more homes in a very short period of time than really any other company out there. And that will include anything from $1,000 renovation where we just need to do a little bit of touch up on the house, right? It's in great condition, just maybe a couple of areas of paint or some flooring. And then Offerpad can also renovate homes at a much, a higher expense. So $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. We're looking for quality homes, but Offerpad can also take on homes that do need more work. So that is done all after the home closes. The seller is not having to worry about renovation. They don't have to worry about people in their homes, finding a general contractor to do anything. We take all of that on. Within just a few weeks, our renovation crew is done and we put it on the market. And the next buyer is going to be able to have a home that is upgraded, like you said, that's clean, that's fresh paint, fresh, appliances, anything that we think that it needs to be done.
Interesting. So what is the price range? I know it'll probably vary by market, but is Offerpad looking for middle of the market? Do you also deal with starter homes? What is the general type of house you're looking for?
When Offerpad first started, it was definitely more of that median house pricing, but now it does vary per market. But I would say on average, anywhere between $80,000, $90,000 condos, all the way up to $600+ homes. What we did launch a new service offering actually during the pandemic, which is a superior listing option that will allow anybody to be able to work with us and really utilize the Offerpad brand and maximizing their home's value. So that is a completely new and really a game changer to the real estate industry. Somebody with $1 million house can come to us. Offerpad will offer the superior listing service where we provide tons of free service. Their home is always show ready. But what's really my favorite feature about it is that you'll have that Offerpad cash offer as backup. So let's say you decide I'm interested in selling my house. I think that if I put maybe just a couple $1,000s worth of money in it, I could get $10,000 more if I list it on the open market. You come to Offerpad, we will do that renovation work for you. That $2,000 worth of work that you think may need to be done. We'll do that renovation work for you. You don't pay any costs until closing, so nothing out of pocket. Our crews will manage that work, and then we'll list it at that higher price for you. Now, you get 20 days in and say, you know what, I don't want to list anymore. I don't want strangers in my house, or this isn't working for me, or I need to close now. And you can go back and activate our original cash offer. So really, we're giving people that choice, that freedom to move how they want to sell their house with whatever works best for their situation.
Interesting. Are you seeing more migration where people are selling and then moving to other markets? Do you have any information or insight on that?
We do have a partnership with a relocation company too. So we do have a little bit of insight into people kind of moving across. I think right now, I don't have exact numbers for you, but right now we're seeing a lot more people, as you've mentioned, like the inventory is lower. We're seeing people moving into larger houses with that larger land space, number of rooms, versus moving into other markets. We do see that people will use us for multiple markets. We're in 900 cities now. So somebody that is selling their house in Austin and needs to move to Phoenix, they'll sell their house to Offerpad. And then Offerpad will help them find a house, whether it's an Offerpad owned home or not, in Phoenix, and we'll align all the closing dates exactly how they need to. So it's definitely an amazing option for those that do want to move to another state.
I'm studying this year's market and what it's going to do. There's a lot of talk about what happens, when obviously we've had 106 months now of existing median home prices keep going up. What is OfferPad looking at, and how are you planning for when this starts to shift?
So OfferPad, as you can imagine, when we purchase a home, the fact that people can select their closing date, we have to be able to evaluate and look at the market, not just 30, 60, but 6 months ahead to be able to make sure that we're providing the best and the right offers. So with OfferPad, we do see that the market that we're currently in is probably something that's going to continue through a lot of this year, through 2021, with the inventory low, people looking to purchase the same types of homes, more of that seller's market. If there's a shift, that's where I think people have, they might have a hard time understanding, well, if the market shifts or if homes are selling so quickly, why would I use an iBuyer? And it's the benefits that we provide on both sides. So one, if the market does shift, OfferPad has operated and our real estate operations teams have operated in all kinds of markets. So there's no concern there. We're ready for whatever way the market's going to go. OfferPad can support sellers or buyers in whichever way. But if we do see that, we continue right now and homes are selling very quickly, people say, well, why would I sell to a cash buyer? I can sell it on the market within 2 days. It's true, but that means that if your home is going to sell in 2 days, the home you may want to move to is going to sell in 2 days. And how are you going to make sure that you don't have your buyer back out? How are you going to make sure that you have the contingency? And when it really comes down to it, OfferPad's offers are amazingly accurate and high and good. So they're free too. So it doesn't really make sense for somebody to not come to us and just request that free, no obligation offer up front before they think about listing their home on the traditional market.
Well, and certainly there have been a lot of bidding wars. We've heard from real estate agents in some of those hot markets. They're getting 20 offers on a house. So there's a lot of competition out there. So I think that's another factor.
Yeah, we see it too. I mean, we're OfferPad is a technology company, but our roots are real estate. So we're a brokerage. We have the same, standards and regulations as any other brokerage out there. So we sell the homes that we purchase after we go through renovation. We put those homes back on the market. It's OfferPad who actually sells those. So we're seeing the same thing with, the bidding wars and people coming in much higher over appraisal. It's been definitely an interesting year and interesting 12 months, I would say. But I would say that it's probably going to look a lot like this for the remainder of the year in the real estate world.
Your agents are licensed, obviously, in your brokerage you mentioned. Do you have partnerships with any of the other brokerages or individual real estate agents?
Yes, so absolutely. Our agents are licensed through the OfferPad brokerage. We're constantly adding more agents. It's been something that we officially launched in June. We did a lot of pilot testing for quite some time. But we have a lot of agents coming over to us because of the different employee benefits. They're employees of OfferPad. So they're getting a lot of benefits with us. And then you can imagine we have thousands of people coming to us looking to sell and buy a home every single day. So some people still want to use a real estate agent. And so we're able to provide that. We work with other brokerages every single day. So those that are representing a buyer that's buying our home, we work with agents every single day, always have been. We actually, I think something that really sets us apart from anyone else is that we offer the highest referral fee in the industry. So if you're an agent and your seller is interested in possibly using OfferPad or a similar company, if the agent comes to us and requests an offer on behalf of their seller, and then the seller selects us, they can receive a 3% referral fee. So the same amount of money, the same commission they would if they were going to put that home on the open market, but they're really offering their seller a different experience, no showings, no negotiations, don't need to get their house show ready. They don't have to do any repairs or anything like that. It's actually increased quite a bit since it used to be a 1% referral fee. And about midway through last year, we upped it to 3% because we wanted to make sure that agents were looking at us as a serious option for their sellers, but that they were also going to be paid accurately too.
That makes sense. In terms of agents, are these newly licensed agents or are you seeing agents come from existing brokerages and then joining OfferPad?
We have a hiring process with our agents. So it's not just anybody fresh out of school can come to us. They do have to have a tenure. They have to have a certain number of homes that they've sold in a certain time period. It does vary per market. But these are going to be experienced real estate agents that are coming to OfferPad that are seeing OfferPad as a different way that they can support their sellers. And the direction of what real estate is going to move to. So the majority are coming, if not all, from other brokerages.
I wanted to pivot a little bit and talk about your relationship with home builders, because I think one of the things that is interesting in iBuying is that there have been these partnerships. Some of your competitors are doing this as well, because it just makes sense to be able to move into a new home and have this other offer there. So I know you have the Home Builder Alliance program. Can you talk about that and maybe mention some of the home builders that you're working with?
Yeah, so we have some of the top home builders, the top 20 home builders that we've partnered with across the U.S. So Beazer Homes, Meritage Homes, Miranda Homes. It really varies per market. Our website shows a lot of the builders that we've partnered with. It's an amazing experience, though. I mean, if you think about it, you go to buy a new house, you have no idea when it's going to close. They may say it might close in 6 months, but it could take 9 months. It could take 10 months. If you don't know when to put your house on the market, right? So how are you supposed to figure out when am I supposed to sell my current house when I don't even know when my new house is going to be ready? We see people have to move twice. They have to put their stuff in storage. They have to move in with a friend, a family member, an in-law, extended stay place, where if they sell their home to Offerpad, you know how I told you that sellers can pick between like 2 weeks and 90 days to close with Offerpad. If they are purchasing from one of our Home Builder Alliance partners, they can have up to 9 months in their home. So they come to Offerpad in January. We give them what their offer is. That offer will be good up until the 9 months when their home closes, that new build home closes. So they can adjust that time frame as much as needed. But we give them a huge window of where they don't have to think about moving twice. They don't have to think about selling their house. They could think about everything for their new build, knowing that their house is already sold with Offerpad.
Interesting. Have you seen delays from some of the home builders? I know that there have been some concerns about supply chain and things like that. So has that been something that has impacted Offerpad at all?
So it hasn't impacted Offerpad. I can't speak on behalf of what the home builders themselves. I'm personally just not close enough to that right now. But it hasn't impacted Offerpad in any way that we're seeing. We're very flexible, even with that 9 months. You know, if somebody needs to close in 3 months or close in 10 months, we're very flexible, especially with their builders. So for us, we just want to make sure it's on whatever they can sell their home on whatever timeline they need to Offerpad.
Are you seeing more of an interest in new homes? I think that's one of the things that we've been tracking is now that the median home price for an existing home and the median home price for a new home are tracking closer together. Are you seeing that same amount of interest in new home buying?
I would say we've seen a significant increase in the home builders that have looked to partner with us. So our Home Builder Alliance program has been around since the beginning when Offerpad was founded in 2015. And now we've added even more and more partners, a lot of smaller community home builders, a lot of 55 plus builders. So a lot of the builders are definitely seeing the advantage to partnering with Offerpad because they're going to be that seller, that buyer of their home, their contingency is completely, removed. They know that builder knows that if their home is sold to Offerpad, the likelihood of them being able to move forward with that new build at the end is extremely high. But we've seen a lot more with us adding on more builders than, of course, we've seen a lot more people coming to us that are purchasing new builds, knowing that their builders have partnered with us.
That makes sense. Well, this is a great place to take a short break.
Like what you're hearing? Get more real estate investing news and advice from Millionacres on Instagram @Millionacres and on Twitter @Millionacres_co.
During our break today, we are excited to have Millionacres lead investment analyst Matt Argersinger here to speak briefly about one of our newest services, Real Estate Winners. Thank you for joining us, Matt.
Thanks for having me.
So what is Real Estate Winners and who is it for?
Well, I like to think of Real Estate Winners as our answer to Stock Advisor in the real estate market. It is a service that provides recommendations on publicly traded real estate investment trusts and real estate companies. So it's a pretty big universe out there. There's over 200 REITs to choose from and probably dozens, if not hundreds, of real estate companies are in our universe. And we provide regular investment recommendations as well as commentary on the market, educational material. And it's really designed to get anyone who's interested in investing and learning about real estate started.
So is it geared toward new investors or is it more for seasoned pros?
I think Real Estate Winners can serve both. I think if you're a new investor, maybe you're just getting started with stocks and you want to learn more about how to add real estate to your portfolio, great place to start. If you're a seasoned investor and just thinking, okay, how can I diversify my portfolio, maybe reduce the volatility in my portfolio, maybe add some income to my portfolio, then I think Real Estate Winners is a great solution for that cohort as well.
Fantastic. What are the benefits of being a member of Real Estate Winners?
Number one benefit is day one when you join, you get our top 10 investment ideas at the moment. So really right from the beginning, you know what our 10 best ideas in the publicly traded real estate market are. And then going forward on a monthly basis, you'll get a new recommendation, sometimes more than one new recommendation, as well as regular content that we're coming out. We're covering our past recommendations, providing updates, and talking about the real estate market. So it's really the full package.
Perfect. So what do you need to get started?
Really all you need is a discount brokerage account. So if you're used to buying stocks, and you probably already have that. If you haven't bought stocks in the past, of course, just open a discount brokerage account. These days, you don't even have to pay commissions. It's fantastic. So it really couldn't be easier to get started investing with Real Estate Winners.
Sounds fantastic. So how can people sign up?
Sure. They can head over to real.fool.com. That's real.fool.com.
Great. Thank you so much, Matt.
I'm back with Cortney Read, Chief of Staff at Offerpad, which is one of the biggest iBuying startups. So on the Motley Fool Live and on Millionacres on the website, we've talked a lot about earning reports for some of the Offerpad's publicly traded competitors. A lot of them are making some big bets on iBuying, even though for some of them it's not profitable. So what do you think it's going to take to make iBuying profitable on a wide scale?
I really can't speak on behalf of the competitors because really there's just a few large competitors that in this space, people that are able to buy and sell and operate at the same level that Offerpad is. You're talking hundreds, thousands of homes every single month. So there's really only a few, like you had mentioned, some of our competitors earlier on. For Offerpad, it's as a privately held company, we don't share a lot of our financials, but we do have a different way that we develop our offers compared to the majority of our competitors. And for us, we are very good. Let's just say we're very good at making sure that we're providing the right, accurate offer, and what the holding costs will cost us, right? If we're going to hold the home for 10 days or 90 days. So Offerpad is, there's not a lot, I'm kind of beating around the bush here because there's not a lot I can share, but if you can kind of read between the lines, Offerpad is in an amazing spot. And yeah, really every competitor is kind of operating differently. They have different strategies on if they are trying to open up the most markets or buy the most homes or, have the most contracts signed or sell the most homes. There's a lot of different strategies going on right now. With Offerpad, ours is really completely around two things. It's the customer experience. So we have an amazingly high net promoter score, if you're familiar with that. 84 is our net promoter score, which is basically almost unheard of. Our customer satisfaction score is 94%. So 9 out of 10 people would highly recommend this to a friend or a family member. Everything we do, every product we roll out is all about our customers' experience, making sure they have full control and that they're enjoying it. It's a stress-free process. That's why we're here, is to take on all the heavy lifting and the stress for them. But then I would say the second thing that we're primarily focused on is to be really this amazing real estate solution center that no matter what way you prefer to sell your house, Offerpad can be that source for you. So if you want to sell instantly to us, right, that's what we're known for, that instant cash offer for the last 5 years. You can do that. If you want to list your home with us and use Offerpad agents and get, free show-ready services and a handyman and a concierge that's going to be making sure your home is always show-ready for free with that cash up back offer, you can do that. And to be honest, we're just getting started. The different products and things that we're in development, we're really, really excited about. We have tons more options and solutions that we're going to be rolling out to customers, even just this year, on really groundbreaking real estate changing products that put that seller or the buyer in complete control like they've never had before. That is really our primary focus right now, is those two things. Is all really about our customer.
Traditionally, you just had one way to sell your house, and now there's a whole different types of different options with concierge programs and offering people a variety of ways to sell. So is that also part of what you're thinking about?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, you have to remember too, the Offerpad was founded by the top real estate agent in the country. So he had more transactions over an 8-year span than any other agent in the country. And that's our founder, Brian Bear. So he's, he's our CEO, and he's really, you don't get to be one of the top agent on accident. It's all about referrals, and it's about your customer experience and what are you providing that's different than any other real estate agent. And that's something that is funneled all the way down through Offerpad. So that's what we do is how can we make this experience better? How can we put the customer in more of control over their experience? What can we do that's different, that's never been seen or done before? All of that starts at the top at Offerpad, and it's weaved into every aspect of our business.
Well, I wanted to talk about one thing that you're doing that I think is interesting is that you have the home improvement advance program. So where you're managing some of the repairs and renovations, and it's sort of a different option for people if they maybe don't want to do the straight up iBuying. So how has that been going so far for you? And do you think that's going to be a larger portion of Offerpad's business going forward?
Yeah, so the home improvement advance is aligned with our listing, with Offerpad's listing service. It's pretty unique. Well, with us being one of the largest renovation companies, we're probably one of the only ones that can do it and do it at this scale and be really, really good at it. So what it means for the seller is that they can come to us and maximize their home's value without any stress on them. So if you decided today that you wanted to list your house on the market, you have to think about all the things that would need to be done, right? Do I need to get my carpets cleaned? Do I need to get my house painted? Do I need to get the roof done? Do I need to have the appliances redone? Every single thing that everybody thinks about when they sell their house. And now you have to go find people to do it. So now you got to get bids and estimates and hope somebody doesn't no-show. And then you have to select the person, and then they're booked out for 3 weeks. Now, by the time you realize that it could be 2-3 months before your house is in the kind of condition that you wanted to put it in. And so in your mind, you might be going back thinking, I should have just sold it for, $230. I put in all this time and money and effort to try to maximize it to $240. But really, it's been a lot of stress and inconvenience and a burden on me. Those same people can come to Offerpad. And if that house is worth $230 at the time that they come to us, and we see that there's opportunity to increase the value of that home by doing all the things that I just mentioned, Offerpad will take that responsibility on. We will do that before the home is getting listed. And it's Offerpad employees. It's our renovation team, right? So you're not going to be sitting there waiting 2 or 3 weeks for your carpets to get replaced or your house to get painted. Offerpad is going to be able to, nearly immediately make all of those changes and improvements and then get your home on the market to maximize that value. You pay nothing out of pocket. There's no service fees. There's no extra cost to it. No labor fees. Everything is at MSRP. With us being one of the largest renovation companies, you can imagine the significant discount that we're able to get when we order, buy things in bulk or come back to, reoccurring manufacturers. So a lot of people really have taken advantage of this. They'll make more money on their home than it was worth 2 months before with us. And then they pay us any of the renovation costs back at closing. So it's nothing out of pocket to you. You're not putting it on a credit card. You're not spending money on a home that you're actually trying to move out of. We have seen an increase since we've offered this month over month. We've begun to see an increase, and I do believe that if those that want to list their home and feel like they could get more for it, they are going to come to us for that because we've made it super efficient and easy. Right? I mean, you can imagine all of the million phone calls alone that you're going to be taking out of if you just came to Offerpad for that service.
The contractors, the general contractors that they're doing the work, they're actually Offerpad employees?
So it varies per market. A lot of them are Offerpad employees. And then it depends. So, we're headquartered in Arizona where we have different weather conditions than, in Raleigh, one of our other markets. So we have different people on our renovation teams and crews. By market, if maybe we need more roofers in one market than we do in another. And then there are times where we will partner with third-party vendors to also work with our general contractors, our renovation teams. If it's all dependent on the home. Every home is different. So those vendors do have to be approved. They go through a process. They learn, what we call the Offerpad way. They understand our culture, what we're trying to do for our sellers. And so any vendors, we encourage them to go to our website and they can share more information about why we may want to look at partnering with them.
Interesting. And that brings up another question I've been thinking about. So I know that a lot of the iBuyers, they start in markets where the housing stock is relatively homogenous, like Arizona and, Raleigh as well. One of the things that is interesting to me is as iBuying expands into markets where you have older housing, where you have maybe more of a mix, is that going to be a challenge in terms of both pricing homes and in terms of renovating, because you might be dealing with more repair issues on a house that's 100 years old? How's OfferPad thinking about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's when you go to launch in a new market, there's a lot of things that we take into consideration. So we're going to be in Denver and Nashville on March 1st, which are themselves are two completely different markets. So we have to evaluate the real estate market per market. And that's why we have local real estate expertise in an office in each one of our markets. So we have somebody who's driving that market, and they're the head of it, and they're watching all of the real estate projections. We're making our own projections, the trends, things like that. And then we have the local real estate agents that have, know street by street. And the real estate team in each market is amazing. And then we're able to develop those renovation teams in each market as well for those specific market needs. So it does change the way that we have to look at it. If a home is 5 years old or if it's 50 years old, we have to know what we're purchasing, right? Because we need to make sure that we are putting into account the work that may need to be done on the home after we close. Need to take into account how long the home may sit on the market. So when you're looking at different price points, right, a $300,000 home may go much quicker than $1 million home. So all of that is taken into consideration when we're developing out our offers.
How long does it take to start a new market, and how do you decide where you're going to go next?
For us, I believe, announced in December that we were going to Denver and Nashville. They were markets that we've been looking at for quite some time. We have a whole team that analyzes the markets and determines which ones that OfferPad wants to go into next. I would say the consistency is that they have to have a strong economy, right? For us to work, we need to make sure that people are actually looking to move, frequently in those states. Wouldn't make sense for us to go to a market or a city where there's just not a lot of real estate traction of buying and selling. So we do look at the economy for each individual market. We look at the trends from the past, the projections. There's a lot that goes into it. And then we start developing out that team for each market. So we're one of the only ones in our space that actually has those local real estate market expertise in each market. It's valuable because those are the ones that are going to be developing the offer. Not the people at our headquarters in Arizona are not going to be developing an offer on a house in Charlotte. It's the Charlotte real estate operations teams that are going to be developing it. They know that market. They know the area, the streets, where the malls are, where the schools are, like the traffic. They know everything there, so they're going to be providing those accurate offers. But we did announce at the end of the year that we're going into Denver and Nashville, and we'll be live there in March. March 1st, we'll be live.
As iBuying expands, do you think it's going to be a challenge when you start getting into smaller markets? Most of iBuying right now has been focused on relatively large cities. As it gets into smaller markets, does that become more of a challenge in terms of figuring out pricing?
Every market is definitely going to vary. I would say one of the things that OfferPad does is outside of just looking for new markets for us to go into, we expand in the current markets we're in. So, Phoenix is a great example. Phoenix was our first market that we had opened in 2015, and now we're in hundreds of cities in Arizona. So it's not just that Phoenix metro market. We're able to go all the way up, 2 hours away to Tucson. So we've expanded, and that allows us to get more ingrained into the community, watching the housing prices. What do we need to make sure that we're offering? What are the conditions? What are the neighborhoods? So that's really important that we continue to expand. But while we're selecting new markets, we evaluate every home on an individual basis. So when that request comes into us, we have our own proprietary platform that'll help determine what the offer is, but real human eyes evaluate that offer before it's sent to that seller within 24 hours, because they can make the adjustments that really only a human would know. So that's extremely important for us to always still have those real estate experts' eyes on there so that we can evaluate each home, whether it's a smaller community or an older home or on, larger, more acres. We evaluate that home individually. So let's say you and I are neighbors. Our offers may look completely most likely will look different, right? If I have a corner lot, if I have a pool, it's not just a straight algorithm that we shoot out. It's based on that specific home.
So, in terms of those human eyes, is that someone who's an appraiser or an inspector or an agent? What's the background of the people that are kind of doing that last check?
Yeah, so they all have real estate backgrounds. The majority of Offerpad has a real estate background, either from mortgage lending, real estate, traditional world, any kind of property investment. So there's a lot of real estate experience and talent at Offerpad. The real human eyes are evaluated. Those people are evaluating the offers in that market. So not so much our real estate agents, although we have our real estate agents and a lot of Offerpad employees were agents prior, but it's our team of acquisitions, the real estate experts in, let's say, the Tampa market. Those are the ones that are evaluating that offer and making adjustments higher or lower based on what they know in the local real estate market.
One thing I'm wondering about is this podcast is for real estate investors. And I know some real estate investors are maybe concerned that iBuyers make it harder for flippers to find deals. Do you feel that Offerpad and other iBuyers, are they competing with individual investors, or is it really a different thing?
We do work with investors as well, but really, I mean, it depends. Offerpad, we've been, shouting from the rooftops for 5 years that we're not a fix and flip. It's taken a long time of education for consumers to understand how we're different in the service that we're trying to provide. We're not looking to be an investor that's going to come in and undercut somebody on the price of their home, put a little bit of money in it and flip it. That's the complete opposite of our model. Our model is to come as closest to what we think that consumer believes their house is worth, put our own money into it. And then when we go to sell that home, if there's any increase in the cost of what the home is selling for, it's because Offerpad's renovations have increased the value of that home. So I think it's a little bit different because, every investor may be looking at it differently depending on the kind of buy box, the homes that they're buying. But with Offerpad, we do work with investors. They do buy some of our homes. It's not really any major competing thing like that.
As we wrap up, just wanted to know some future plans for Offerpad, and also people are probably wondering if Offerpad has any plans to go public in the future.
So future plans, you can expect to see a lot more solutions coming from Offerpad in 2021, more consumer focused. Really, we listen to our customers. We understand their pain points, and we want to know what demands they have for the best experience. And so you're going to see new products and offerings coming out. You're going to see our market expansion. We talked about Denver and Nashville, but that's just the first two markets that we've announced for 2021. So we have plans for additional expansion this year. As far as going public or anything like that, I'm not able to provide any direct insight on that.
So how many markets are you in totally now?
We are in 14, but again, we are in, we've expanded in a lot of those markets. So without counting Denver and Nashville, we're in about 900 cities to date.
Interesting. So do you start off sort of toward the center and then expand out into the suburbs?
Yeah, we usually start, more in that major metro market where you see a higher number of transactions occurring. And then we do, branch out. Florida is a great example. Tampa and Orlando have been successful markets from us since nearly the beginning of Offerpad, and now we're in several more. We're in Jacksonville now, and then even in Jacksonville and Tampa and Orlando, we've even expanded out there. So the radius of coverage is so significant. Texas is another great example. We're in Dallas, Austin, Houston, and San Antonio. So we have a very wide coverage of all of those major metro markets, but then all of their surrounding cities too. You're talking hundreds of cities just in Texas.
One last fun question. What one trophy house would you dream of picking up through iBuying?
Oh, well, let me tell you that we're in Arizona where I'm based. There are some beautiful, beautiful properties that even just recently when I was on the website, I was even thinking personally myself, some beautiful 5-bedroom pools on backs to, a man-made lake. So there's definitely some amazing properties that we have. But then I also will go on our Raleigh sites and I'll see, the difference in the houses there and all the acres and the beautiful woods and backyards. So personally, I would definitely love to move into a larger area, larger home, just like everybody else, with my own extra office space during this time right now.
Right? Have you found more people as your website's traffic increased as people are sort of like dream browsing?
Yeah, our brand recognition is just really skyrocketed, I would say, over the last couple of years. I've been with Offerpad for, I want to say 3.5 years or so. And so, when I first started here being based in Arizona and living in Arizona, still have, friends and family a couple of years back, not understanding what kind of company I worked for. And if you look at where we are today and iBuying, right? Just that term alone, everybody knows what that means now. They may not have experienced it because it's not like you're buying and selling a house every day, but they've heard of it and it's something that they're going to consider. We have a significant amount of people, web traffic that come to us first to get an offer before they're even talking to anybody else about selling their home with us, since it's that free no obligation offer, right? They can come to us. Maybe they're just kicking around the tires, wondering what their home is going to be worth. They'll come to us. So yes, month over month, we've had significant increase. We're excited to offer more products too, because we can only imagine how many more consumers we're going to be able to help find their dream home, sell their current house, and just really do it their way, whatever works best.
Thank you for your time today. You can always find more information on offerpad.com. Stay well and stay invested.
Thank you for tuning in to the Millionacres Podcast. I hope you liked today's show. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider subscribing through your favorite podcast provider. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop us a line at help@millionacres.com. Get more real estate investing news and advice from Millionacres on Instagram @Millionacres and on Twitter @Millionacres_co. Stay well and stay invested. People on this program may have an interest in the deals, offerings, or services they discuss that Millionacres or the Motley Fool may have a formal recommendation for or against. Always consult a certified tax professional before acting on tax advice, and do not buy or sell assets based solely on what you hear.